What the hell's that doing there?
In 1934, 2 housing estates were built side by side in North Oxford. One was a council estate, the other a private development. When the private developer heard that slum clearance tenants were being moved into the council estate, he started to worry that middle-class tenants wouldn't want to move into his new houses. So he built a wall.
Good God, how does one get to the other side of that?
In fact, he built 2, topped with foot-long revolving spikes, right across the access roads to the council estate.
How the hell am I going to get there? So you go and ring that doorbell over there, and they would sniff at you and have said, oh, you'll have to go down there and round there and round there. Well, how far is it? It's about 3/4 of a mile.
Erected in 1934 and finally demolished on the 9th of March, 1959. When I stumbled on the plaque which marks the spot, nearly 70 years after the walls came down, it wasn't just the history which caught my attention. It was that so many people in Cutteslowe still know that history.
The wall was put up to segregate the rich from the poor. They didn't want the poor going up their road, didn't they?
And some people I met said they could still see the shadow of it today.
Do you know, they say this is the poor side, other side is the rich side.
So what happened here after the walls came down?
I think it was about 11 foot tall, but as a child, it was enormous.
With the help of this man, Steve Griffiths.
Solid brick masonry.
I've traced the stories of a few houses on the estate from the time the walls stood to the present day.
Circular metal spikes going across the top of the wall, to try and stop people climbing over as if they would bother.
The walls fell on Steve's 5th birthday, at the same time his family were dealing with the terrible grief of losing his little sister.
And that's why I find myself being brought up by grandparents in one side and grandparents the other. So home was sort of Cutteslowe enlarged in these 3 houses.
His family and both sets of grandparents were here on the estate. What would you like to know, and what would your hopes be for those houses today?
Let's have a world now where Cutteslowe exists, where we don't look down on people because they're in this social group or that social group. The walls came down, keep them down. That's the message.
Today, what happened to Steve's paternal grandparents' house?
They were evacuees from London, just at the outset of the Second World War.
Steve's grandfather was one of those community figures involved in everything. Caretaker at the school, lay preacher organising events at the community centre.
And on Sundays, he would have Sunday fellowship meetings in the hall there.
And the way he described it, this was a very tight-knit community. Steve left Oxford 20 years ago, but before that, he was the facilities manager at one of the Oxford University colleges.
One of the scouts, one of the cleaners there, I found out lived where my grandparents lived. So again, it's mirrors within mirrors within mirrors. The division was still there.
He said he thought her name was Carol.
It must be a good 20, 25 years ago. Okay. Whether she's still there now, I don't know.
When I went to go and knock, the house was quite distinctive because of the very big Union Jack hanging in the garden. And I'd noticed it because I'd actually already been in the house next door with a lady called Dilber.
Rain, go away, come back another day.
I'd met Dilber at the community larder. Not quite a food bank, because everyone pays a small fee if they can. It's run by the local church and they serve hot meals for free too. Dilber volunteers here, as well as using the community larder herself. So now you're waiting for the kids to arrive?
Yes, when I feed the kids, I feel very happy. They give me like therapy.
She was in the car park dishing out pasta to all the children pouring out at the school gate next to the community centre.
I don't know. Parents as well, we feed them as well.
She immediately struck me as a force. When she first arrived in Oxford years ago, she'd volunteered for the Christmas kitchen in town on Christmas Day. And she'd recruited other Muslim women to do the same. There had been some reluctance, she said.
When I go, I talk with my one friend and say, could you come in, we go together? She said, no, this is for Christian, not for me. They say, why you go?
Since some said it wasn't their religious festival.
I say, sorry, because Christian, Jewish, other religion, all from God.
It's the same God. We just worship in our own way.
Sorry, I have a sauce as well. Do you like this sauce?
Fabulous. Dilba had invited me into her home immediately, and when I turned up half an hour later, she'd already knocked up a full meal by the time I'd got there.
Oh, wow. Yes, go on then. Thank you.
And you enjoy, my darling.
Thank you very
If you
much.
know food, I give you more. Please, you come very far away, we should feed you. Our culture like this, you know.
Dilba came here on a lorry 25 years ago.
Where did you get on the lorry?
In Turkey, because we have a very bad... I'm Kurdish. Turkish government, they don't like Kurdish people.
And the war between the Turkish authorities and the Kurdish Workers' Party, the PKK, that has been raging for nearly 14 years. 25,000 people have died, 3,000 villages destroyed, 3 million people made refugees in their own country. Women have been raped. Torture has become routine.
And we running away. Lorry take you, you don't know where do you go. They choose your life. They choose you where do you go. That we coming out, my one friend said they speak English. This is England. This is England. Okay. They said this is a hole. You welcome.
And she found out she was pregnant when she arrived into Hull.
I didn't know. I feel sick. I'm saying maybe this is the sea and we are many days in the lorry.
Now she has 4 children. 2 of them are at university. Her family had money, but she left it all behind, she told me. She said she'd been on the council house waiting list for years.
But how much do you have to pay in private rental to be in this house?
1,750.
And if you got a council house?
I think more cheaper, like 700 or something.
Dilba lives next door to Steve's grandparents' old house.
One day I wake up, I pass the flag in front of the door.
When the flag went up next door, Dilba didn't know what it meant.
Maybe special day, do you know? I said, maybe this is special day.
Until someone in one of the community groups she volunteers with had talked about the rise in flags locally.
I said, I can't believe it. My neighbor do it as well. They said, really, your neighbor? I said, yeah, she do it.
Do you mean that one there?
Yeah.
With the Union Jack flag?
Did you see it? Next?
Yeah, I did. Under the tree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it turns out that Carol, the cleaner Steve once worked with, does still live here. The flag isn't hers after all.
You've got a Union Jack outside, haven't you?
My son, because he refuses to be told that he can't fly a flag.
A reaction to the feeling that hanging our country's flag is wrong, she said.
So he put it up. He wanted an England one, but all the England flags have sold out. He still hasn't replaced it with an England flag. As you know, you're not allowed to fly a flag. He gets very, very, very angry.
Flags had gone up on the Cutteslowe roundabout when I'd first arrived. Then headlines surfaced about the amount the council was spending to have them removed too.
I've come back to my roots, and so has Martin. We were born here.
Carol lives with her husband Martin and her 30-year-old son. She was born a few doors down from Steve, just after the wall came down.
I mean, I could go over Cutteslowe Park and say, I used to sit on that swing with my brother. I know where I had my first kiss. Everything. Do you know what I mean? That's quite emotional, that.
Carol and Martin only met 25 years ago, but he too grew up on the estate and remembered the walls.
So you were right next to the wall?
Yeah.
Near enough.
Were you?
Martin had spent 30 years serving in the Navy before going on to do all sorts of jobs locally. He only just retired, while Carol still works in the same cleaning job as when Steve knew her 20 years ago.
And you can't remember Steve Griffiths that used to live here, can you?
We sat at the kitchen table.
I'm surprised you can't.
Martin sat across the room from me and Carol, insisting that he didn't want to be interviewed, but still had a lot to say.
You've got to let me record that. Will you let me record that, Martin? Oh. he just said the rich people own the houses, charge people a fortune to live in the houses, and then no one's got any chance of getting a house themselves.
Of the 3 houses which Steve's family lived in when he was growing up on the estate, this is the only one which remains a council house.
If you live in a council house and you're just living on basic means, like basic jobs, which most people on this estate are, That means they can't afford to buy. That means their children won't be able to afford to buy. And it will go on like that. People can't afford to buy houses. That's why we need council homes.
The house is almost a mirror image of Dilber's.
Well, I was actually so I met next door at the community larder.
What, the lady next door?
Yeah, Dilber, yeah.
She's a very nice lady.
She was telling me that because that is private. That's something.
But it struck me that the neighbours, Carol and Dilber, both identified the same problem. Next door, Dilber said she was paying £1,700 out of her £2,200 universal credit to a private landlord, while Carol and Martin were paying £700 a month to the council for an identical house. Meanwhile, Carol and Martin talked about how many of their neighbours are refugees now, while their children can't get houses on this estate anymore.
I mean, I can understand it, but try and talk to my son who's a young of age.
It's all about your prospects. What your
Because they know their
like.
prospects are. They can't, they've got to stay at home living with mum. They haven't got the choices we had when we were younger.
On top of that, every pub had gone, every chippy.
God forbid any chip shops in Summertown. We had 2 chip shops.
Every affordable destination for people to get together.
I mean, they used to have a laundrette. We have not got a laundrette.
Youth clubs had gone, the local army cadets.
Summertown is for students now. Very posh, very expensive. It's full of cafes. Full. They've just opened up a new one last week, actually.
Except just a few hundred metres away, there is a place for people to get together, I said. I'd seen it.
The first place I went was the community larder, because it is actually a place.
A place to meet.
To me.
Yeah. But I can't because I work.
Because you work.
Nobody speaks anymore. Nobody talks to you anymore. You know, when it used to be close-knit and everybody knew everybody, you could go round and ask for a cup of sugar or whatever. Everybody stays in their houses now, and you know what I mean? We all used to talk.
What you're saying is, if you don't have spaces for people to be together, they won't be together.
No.
And it will increase tension.
It will.
Once upon a time, there were walls across the access roads here. But there was also opportunity. Steve went to grammar school, on to university. His parents bought their council house. Their lives moved on. Now, Carol said, all those chances seem to have gone. And as a result, there's a kind of bunker mentality.
In this estate, at my son's age, he will only talk to his people that he's talked to all his life. Any newbies? No. So this is what I mean about animosity on a small estate.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
when you get people living and not knowing or communicating, it's bad. It's no wonder at this end of Oxford, we've got no community anymore.
In the next episode, the third of the houses which Steve called home, and the part that house and his great-grandparents' story played in the walls first going up.